As we continue the series in the long anticipation for the 40th anniversary of WrestleMania, up next is WrestleMania 11. It took place on April 2, 1995 at the Hartford Civic Center in Connecticut in front of 16,305 fans with a week $750,000 gate. The event, being officially the first WrestleMania in the new generation, brought in 340,000 pay-per-view buys. The show was hosted by Vince McMahon and Jerry Lawler with Spanish, French, and German commentary teams. Todd Pettingill and Jim Ross were at interviews, while Gorilla Monsoon is present in the Coliseum home video version. The show brought in a host of celebrities including Salt-n-Pepa, Nicholas Turturro, Jonathan Taylor Thomas, Kathy Huey, Larry Young, Future Impact co-founder Bob Ryder, and Jenny McCarthy. Also a big part of the show was Baywatch's Pamela Anderson, who was one of the biggest celebrities of that time. The big sell was NFL star Lawrence Taylor taking on Bam Bam Bigelow, a feud that started since the Royal Rumble and brought in football players such as Ken Norton Jr., Chris Spielman, Rickey Jackson, Carl Banks, Reggie White, and Steve McMichael. The WWF Championship is also on the line, being defended by Diesel, who is taking on his former best friend Shawn Michaels. Both these matches were later broadcasted for free on Fox in September of 1995. Unfortunately, this WrestleMania was one of the worst. While Lawrence Taylor and Bigelow put on a good show, and Shawn Michaels put on his best performance to date, the show sucked. Bret Hart slammed his "I Quit" match as probably the worst pay-per-view match he's ever had. We attempt to provide an alternate pay-per-view card to make it more enjoyable and 4 hours long. Bob Backlund vs. Man Mountain Rock in a singles match. Even though Man Mountain Rock debuted in February, he would come out to play rock music, which frustrated Backlund to the point that he would snap at young people. Backlund would even hire a musician to play classical music and the oldies on Raw till Man Mountain Rock knocks out Backlund to much fan applause. Backlund wins by the chicken wing submission. Backlund backstage confronts Salt-n-Pepa trashing their music and gets beaten down by an entourage, making him see the light after the beat down. Lex Luger vs. the British Bulldog in a singles match. The Allied Powers began in January as a tag team facing off against the $1 Million Corporation. Unfortunately, Bulldog would betray Lex, selling out to the corporation. Bulldog would cut promos trashing America and promoting the superiority of the British. They put on a 15-minute match, with Lex being beaten down by some members of the corporation on the outside at every turn till Sid Justice makes a surprise return as a babyface and takes down the corporation on the outside. Lex manages to get in his elbow finisher for the win. In a post-match promo with Lex, Sid talks about how came back for America and that justice is served. Jeff Jarrett, C. vs. Razor Ramon for the WWF Intercontinental Championship. We feel the finish was a mistake and would have Razor regain the title for a third time with the Razor's edge. Rowdy Roddy Piper vs. Duke the Dumpster Droz in a dumpster match. The stipulation is that a wrestler must place their opponent into a big dumpster to win, similar to a casket match. Weeks before the event, Duke would turn heel after attacking Doink the Clown, his tag team partner, in a match by actually using a trash can on him and throwing Doink into the arena dumpster. Duke cuts a promo about he's sick and tired of everyone treating him like a garbage man in a derogatory way and that mothers wouldn't even let their kids see him. Piper makes a return challenging Duke to a match with a stipulation. With no rules, they both use multiple objects till Piper chokes out Duke with cables and throws him into the dumpster to win. Bull Nakano, C. vs. Alundra Blaze for the WWF Women's Championship. This match should have been on the card instead of neglecting the women's division, and we would have Blaze regain her title here as she originally did shortly after WrestleMania. The $1 Million Corporation, King Kong Bundy, British Bulldog, IRS, Tatanka, and Nikolai Volkov, versus Team NFL, Carl Banks, Rickey Jackson, Steve McMichael, Ken Norton Jr., Chris Spielman, and Reggie White, in a 12-man tag match. Ted DiBiase challenges NFL stars weeks before WrestleMania. We would take advantage of the NFL stars to put them in a match that would be for entertainment rather than an actual quality match, though we expect Steve McMichael putting on the best performance for his team. Eventually all hell breaks loose that the match ends in no contest. They all appear later at ringside for the Taylor-Bigelow match. The Smoking Guns, C. versus Owen Hart and Yokozuna for the WWF Tag Team Championships. We would leave this match alone with Yokozuna and Owen winning the tag titles. The Undertaker versus Bret the Hitman Hart in a singles match. Taker was the most over talent in 1994 who was in the WWF title match at the Royal Rumble and had main evented SummerSlam and Survivor Series, despite not being around for half the year. He was suddenly thrown aside and feuded with IRS and Bundy, a big mistake. We would have Taker be in the Rumble dominating it till he meets Bret alone in the ring with the fans standing on their feet. Bret jumps on Taker and both men fall to the outside. They blame each other for not winning the Rumble, leading to a long feud despite being faces. The match is as we expect to be of high quality with Bret getting in the sharpshooter, but Taker refusing to submit. A frustrated Bret goes on the assault and makes a mistake from the top rope for Taker to counter with a tombstone for the win. Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow in a singles match. We would leave this match alone with Taylor going over, however it's not the last match on the card. The Blue Brothers versus the Bushwhackers in a tag team match. A filler match with the Blue Brothers managing to get the win with a double team combination spinebuster and splash on Luke. Shawn Michaels, C. versus Diesel for the WWF Championship. A special stipulation is given that the winner would get a kiss from Pamela Anderson. In this alternate main event we would go way back to 1994 and set up Shawn as the babyface instead of Diesel. Shawn would win the WWF title at Madison Square Garden off of Bob Backlund with just a superkick and pinfall just seconds after the bell. Shawn starts a run defending his title in a rematch with Backlund at the Royal Rumble, while Diesel wins the Rumble itself. Shawn is seen as the underdog here, knowing that Diesel is a giant for him to beat. Shawn gives it his all. Diesel gets in the jackknife powerbomb, but tears his quad. Okay, just kidding. Diesel doesn't go for a pin as he's distracted by Pamela and tells her to pucker up, only for Shawn to kick up and land a desperate superkick for the pinfall and win. Pamela kisses Shawn on the cheek as Shawn celebrates with all the celebrities in the ring. Aftermath. With Shawn as the face of the company, he would face off in a rematch with Diesel at In Your House 1, followed by plenty of talent to work throughout 1995 such as Razor Ramon, Lex Luger, King Kong Bundy, Tatanka, Bret Hart, Undertaker, Sid and more. This would have been a much stronger title run for Shawn versus his original run in 1996. Alternate main event. Diesel as the face champion beating Shawn at the Rumble to face Bret Hart at WrestleMania and beating Bret clean. What did you think of this card? Stay tuned for WrestleMania 12. Comment, like, subscribe, and thank you for watching In the Plot.